not particularly encouraging. 13% are still in romantic love, and another 2% out of the entire study are still living in a state of obsession, which I would define really as bliss. Got a crazy video for you today. She's not yours, it's just your turn. A woman should be a complement to your life, not the focus. Do the work. Women do not care about your struggles. They hang out at the finish line and they pick the winners. All right, what's up, my brothers from another mother? I got a study here in my hand on long-term relationships killing romantic love. As many of you already know, I'm working on the final touches of my book, and I've had to update it with the results of this study. So I thought I'd share it with you in a quick video. If you haven't downloaded the free chapter on the 19 red flags, it's pinned in the top comment in the description below. It's funny that this study opens up with, one should always try to be in love. This is a quote by Oscar Wilde, by the way. One should always be in love. That is the reason one should never marry. Anyway, this is a multi-page study. It's done by Bianca B. Acevedo and Arthur Aron. I'll link this below as well. Anyway, the key results, or the key takeaway on it was, you get a lot of these guys that are, traditional conservatives that are selling you on the notion of, marriage and, having a wife and kids and long-term love and all that sort of thing. And it's the most noble and best thing a man can do. I've got a chapter in my book that talks about the truth about marriage, of course. I may release that to you guys on the list. So if you've got the 19 red flags, I'll probably send that off to you at some point later on because I think it's relevant. But the key result was 42 of the 312 participants, which is 13%, gave top mark. In this study, it was all sixes, basically gave top mark in every romantic love item or category. Their mean relationship length, so their average length, was 8.39 years. So let me distill that for you in simpler terms. Let me warm this up because I got to get a move on. So in simpler terms, only 42, or basically 13% of all the participants, indicated that they still felt romantic love for their partners after 8.39 years. For obsession, which to me would indicate, items towards bliss. A lot of guys will sell you on the notion of bliss, like romantic bliss. It's the most blissful thing. So in the category of obsession, which is slightly higher, only 2%, so only 6 individuals out of 312 indicated obsession for one another. Say that again. 13% of the 312 participants indicated romantic love for one another after 8.39 years, and only 6, or 2%, indicated bliss. Let's get rid of these, throw in some shades, hit the road, and let's talk about that a little bit more, because I think these results are interesting as F. So we already know that about half, I think in North America, the stat last time I saw it was 53%. So give or take a couple points, but let's just call it 53% of all marriages will end in divorce. Some say, well, that factors in a few things that aren't particularly relevant, but who cares? We're not going to argue that point. We're just here to look at these numbers on long-term happiness in a relationship. Car always does that, going down a hill with these front sensors. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that on newer cars, but it's so bizarre. Anyway, so the long and short of it is, long-term relationships are incredibly difficult to manage. The result of most long-term relationships is not bliss or happiness or romantic love. It's, for the most part, divorce. I mean, 53% of marriages end in divorce. And there's a good chunk of those people that stay married that are remaining unhappily married. For those that are remaining unhappily married, we don't have a lot of data on that. But what we do know from this study is the average couple, average, 8.39 years, whatever the hell that means. But the average LTR with a couple, only 13% are in true romantic love for one another, and only 2% are living in a state of obsession. So what hopes do you have? I mean, and I'm not trying to be disparaging here, and I'm not trying to, set aside the values or the merits of family and, long-term relationships or any of those things. I mean, you can choose to do whatever you want to do. I know a lot of guys that are very happily unmarried in long-term relationships, or very happily unmarried in an open relationship. I also know a handful of people, very small handful, I can probably count them on 2 fingers, 2 relationships, in fact, that I'm aware of, where they've been married for more than 20 years and still obsessed with one another. And they've still had a gluttony of problems. And both of them, in fact, did at one point contemplate marriage quite seriously. So again, the study is not to encourage or discourage you, but it's just for me to hold up a mirror and shine on some cold hard truth bombs that a lot of people choose to ignore because of cultural or societal conditioning that's encouraged them to do the right thing, wife up that girl, single mom, whatever the narrative, whatever the story is behind, the idea that getting into a cohabitating LTR or living in a way the state sees as a cohabitating LTR/marriage is a good idea. Vast majority of people are not happy about it. Now, of course, this is only taking into account studies of people that are in an LTR. It's not discounting the roughly half of marriages that end. It just can't factor that in because it's only talking to people that are in long-term relationships. So, the chances of it working out favorably in a romantic or even a slightly blissful way, if you will, because that was the other component of that study, it's relatively small. The chances of being successful are quite low. But the other component of that, which it's not talking about, is essentially the risk factor. Because when you factor in, here comes the popo. Wasn't me. Because when you factor in, the truth of divorce and how it treats men going through the divorce machine, especially if you're a father, divorce is, or family law is exceptionally hostile towards men when it comes to how they're treated and their rights and their access to their kids and how money flows and stuff like that. When you factor in the male experience in the family law or the family legal system, the divorce machine, whatever it is that you want to call it, it's not particularly good. There's a number of other factors that come into play in marriage and long-term relationships or living in a way that's deemed as a marriage. In fact, I think I'm going to give away this chapter too. I'm probably going to give away a good chunk of what's going to be in this book. So get on the list, pinned below. At some point in the next month or so, I'll make sure that I send out this chapter on marriage because there's a lot of truth bombs in there that I really haven't got, 45 minutes to explain an entire video. But what I really want to do is just sum up the results of the study, give you guys some insight as to what I've been working on and why I've been working on it, the hopes that I truly believe that it's going to bring insight to a lot of guys that are left with, the rose-colored glasses. These ones are particularly rose, but you know what I'm talking about. You're left living in this paradigm shift of, believing in putting the feminine first and happy wife, happy life and all that sort of stuff. But the truth of the matter, it doesn't really work out that way in the long term for many guys. Would it be better if you were red-pilled? Would you have a higher success rate? I don't know, because they didn't segment, people in the survey between, are you red pill aware? Are you still gaming your wife? Are you still chasing excellence? None of those things, from what I could pick up in the study, were even considered or even thought to be considered. It's just a general consensus of a few hundred people and the questions they asked them and the results they found, but not particularly encouraging. 13% are still in romantic love, and another 2% out of the entire study are still living in a state of obsession, which I would define really as bliss. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. Give this a thumbs up. If there's somebody that needs to see it or somewhere where you think it might be useful, sharing it helps me out a ton. If you guys do share these videos, and leave a comment below, because I've heard a lot of complaints from you guys saying that YouTube's unsubscribed you, or even though you got notifications hit, they don't show you the video. What can I do? I don't run YouTube. I just hit the same upload button that pretty much everybody else does, and sometimes they favor my stuff and other times they don't. Want to thank you guys for watching this. Again, leave that comment. See you guys in the next video. Peace. All right, gentlemen, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, smash that like button. Before you go, stick around for a minute. I've got some really useful links I want to share with you. Towards the top of all my videos where you can leave your public comment and do feedback, because I read them all. I want to know what you think of it. There's a pinned comment by me. You just expand by hitting read more over here. Most of you guys probably don't know this, but YouTube basically either runs limited or no ads on my type of content just because of the nature of it and the way that they're going these days. So my channel sponsors help me out a ton. You guys are showering anyways. Well, I hope you are. So why not buy a handmade soap from a sponsor that supports the creation of content on my channel? So when you check out with coupon code Cooper, you get 10% off tactical soap and beard oil. It's a pheromone infused. It's a handmade product with no endocrine disruptors. So it doesn't do anything to mess with your endocrine system. It's a great, great product. Been using it for well over a year. It smells amazing. Women love it. There's a link over here. You can check it out. Also, I'll put a card up on the top right. Now, if you're over 35 and you want to put a little more emphasis on self-care and get your swagger and energy back, I want you to click this link. It's called alphafit.fit. Joel's put together this program specifically for 35 plus crowd men. And he's got all kinds of great workout programs and supplementation. All the stuff's amazing. I've been using it myself for the last few weeks. It's great. My Amazon storefront, a lot of you dudes are asking me about what books I recommend or what products I might use. I've linked them all over here, and the store continues to get updated. So if I've read a new book and I love it, it ends up in the store. Check that out for stuff that will help you guys understand the world a little bit better. Now, if you want to join my men's private community and support the channel and get premium videos, because a lot of the stuff that I put out here needs to be watered down, so my unfiltered stuff ends up in my community. We've got a private Facebook page. We do Q&A sessions bi-weekly. There's lots of amazing stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So if you're a guy that wants to network with a bunch of other men that are chasing excellence, that's where you do that. Card is up on the top right. If you want one-on-one coaching, you click this link. It bills by the minute. You can book a call with me one-on-one to help you out with whatever it is you're stuck on. I'll put a card up on the top right up over here. And last but not least, if you haven't got the free chapter for my upcoming book, I'm giving away the one on 19 red flags. We'll probably add another one or two as time goes on. Just click that link, opt into the list. I'll send you over the PDF so you can check it out. And I'll definitely notify you guys when the book becomes available. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.